Fam, what's up? What's up? Good morning to you, Kyle Henderson. Bama football on YouTube. We got a lot to dive in today. The college football playoff rankings were released. I'm going to give you my reactions to the playoff rankings, and I'll get to my calls in just a few minutes. I appreciate you guys joining in. Give me a roll tide inside the comment box as we look over these rankings. And look, I think when you look to the rankings, there's a couple things that I want to point out, and I know you guys want to go over some things too and get your kind of feedback on these rankings and what they mean as of right now. And when you look at the college football rankings, and this was the latest release, remember, if you're new to all this, the college football playoff rankings are rankings that drop every single Tuesday night. Okay, so here's what the rankings look like so far. What's up? Good morning, Josh, Keena, George. What's up? I see you guys inside the comment box. Dolmite, thanks for being here. So number one is the Ohio State Buckeyes, retaining the number one spot after just leading, after defeating Rutgers in a game that they were trailing at the halftime break, 9-7. You have number two, Georgia. I would have thought that they would have put Georgia back in the number one spot, and I will provide some context from Boo Carrington, who is the head of the committee, in just a second. Number three, you have Michigan and everything that's happening around their program. They are the number three spot. And then you have Florida State, who defeated Pitt. You have Washington, Oregon, Texas, and then Bama. Now, I think one of the things that we're going to talk about today is 5, 6, and 7 compared to Alabama. I get it. Alabama has a head-to-head loss against the Texas Longhorns. But with that said, I think the rankings, at least in my opinion, should be rankings that are based on this point in time. And here's some feedback from the committee members. When you look to some of these early season wins, and I'll make this full screen so you guys can check this out. It's good to kind of, so this is the transcript, what you're going to see right here from the committee. I'll make it full size and I'll zoom in so you guys can get a better idea. So last night, following the rankings, media members have an opportunity to ask questions to Boo Carrington, who is the head of the seating committee. So I'll just read this for you guys. Texas-Alabama game. Is it that sort of thing that carries throughout the season, or do you also take into consideration quarterback changes and the length of the time that the game was played early on in the season? Boo says this, yeah, we're going to look at everything. Every game matters. You talk to any coach, they're going to talk about every game mattering and winning matters, etc. The beauty of this committee, to me, is not driven by watching games. It's also driven by specifics, by the resume and the metrics. We work really hard to take everything in. We work really hard to get everyone in the room to talk and make sure that they're voicing their opinions. Again, the coaches do not carry maybe a little bit of extra weight when they're talking about it in examples they've had in their career. But Malik Murphy had a good game. He was playing for Texas, in for Quinn Ewers, and Jalen Merrill has continued to come on, and all credit to Coach Saban and what they've done down here in Tuscaloosa. Now, I think I point this out because it's really interesting, because clearly Alabama's win against LSU does stand out. But with that said, let's look at some other points that they talked about last night, and they were asked about Alabama and LSU specifically. I'll bring that full screen as well. Again, this is the transcript from last night after the college football rankings dropped. Can you guys justify Alabama's win over LSU as how and why you guys kept them at 8? Boo says, again, as we look at this as a committee, we continue to evaluate the play on the field. We continue to evaluate the resume as well as statistics. Texas has a win over Alabama in Tuscaloosa, which is a significant game overall this season as we look, as well as Oregon continuing to play really well. Their win over Utah and the balance of a top 5 offense and a top 15 team defense. That's an interesting statement right there, because we're going to talk about the Pac-12 next. And I've been harping at the fact that the Pac-12, good teams, absolutely, not playoff type teams. I think when you get Oregon or Washington against Alabama, we'll talk about some of those head-to-head matchups. I think Alabama certainly has the edge in terms of the offense and the defense. So this committee really values the Pac-12. And you want to know why? I'm going to show you in just 2 seconds. This is what they were talking about yesterday. And this is again from the committee. What are the committee's thoughts on the quality of the Pac-12 this season? And they ask about Arizona. Boo says this. Yeah, a really good conference. And you can tell by our rankings that and the respect that we have. We have respect for all the conferences that are out there, and we're going to, and what they're doing, but specifically to Arizona, kind of blah, blah, blah. So my point is, when bringing this up, is they like the Pac-12, whether you like it or not. I mean, they like the Pac-12. And what's crazy about this season is the amount of kind of notoriety, or that we're talking about the Pac-12, right? Because like before this, the Pac-12 wasn't even, kind of on the radar. Now all these teams are ranked or whatever. Okay, so last point I'm going to hit on is Florida State. Now, I've been harping on Florida State as well. I think this is a team that necessarily hasn't played a strong schedule, but they are a good team. Look, I've watched them the last couple of weeks. I've actually been impressed with Florida State. Here's what they said about Florida State. I want to ask about Florida State. What was the committee's assessment and what kind of evaluation on their strength of schedule and how they've played into putting them at top 4? Boo says, yeah, again, really good team. Coach Norvell has done a heck of a job down there in Tallahassee, and the combination of the wins over LSU and at Clemson in overtime and against Duke, winning last week without Johnny Wilson or Coleman, two of their key elements of offense, and the physicality of their defense. And their offense puts up 40 points a game, and their defense allows 17 points a game. So they continue to play really well and a really coached football team. Okay, so a couple of things that stand out to me about this particular statement right here, okay? So do you see how they say, and their offense puts up 40 points a game and their defense allows 17 points a game? Okay, I'm going to read that one more time. Offense puts up 40 points a game and their defense allows 17 points per game. Of course. Look who they're playing. Look who the Pac-12 is playing. Like somebody inside the comment box, when I mentioned yesterday that Jalen Milroe won 3 national awards, they were like, well, Bo Nix scored 6 touchdowns. Of course he did. He's playing Cal, right? You look at the schedule of strength between Alabama and Oregon or Washington. There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between, the Pac-12 teams and the SEC teams. The gauntlet that Alabama just went through was a wild ride. You look at what Alabama just played, right? Look at these past 4 games, okay? On the road at Texas A&M. Difficult environment. I get it. Jimbo's on the hot seat. He's been on the hot seat for whatever. But that's a good team. That's the money that you can buy type team. Is a defensive line. That's a good team. Those receivers are amazing, right? Go on the road, beat them. Arkansas, I get it. They had to fire the OC, Dan Enos, whatever. That's a hard team to play. Then you had to play Tennessee, who's ranked. Then you had to play LSU, right? And their elite offense. Besides that, you have Alabama, and this was crazy, as they were listing Alabama's one of their top wins against Tennessee. And I was thinking, well, how is that better than the win against Ole Miss, right? So when you look to kind of the outlook for the playoffs and what is going to happen, I think it's as simple as this. Number one, we know that Alabama just has to continue to win, right? But you also, if you're an Alabama fan, and in my opinion, honestly, I think you have to root for Georgia to win. You have to have Georgia beat Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Georgia Tech and meet up with Alabama in the SEC championship 100%, because I don't think the committee is going to give Alabama do Alabama any favors unless they beat a number 1 ranked Georgia. And Georgia's not even ranked number 1 right now. That's the crazy thing, right? So they love the Pac-12, and the way it shakes out is you have Washington. Let's go to the bottom left of this screen right here. Washington, they take on Utah. They take on Oregon State, and they have Washington State. And then they would play in the Pac-12 championship against Oregon. Oregon takes on USC. Now, Washington plays Utah at home, and Oregon plays USC at home. You got to think they win again. They go to Arizona State, talking about Oregon right now, and then they play in the rivalry game against Oregon State. Look, one of these Pac-12s could slip up. I just don't necessarily see it, and that necessarily isn't a good thing for Alabama down the stretch. I mean, clearly Oregon's ranked above Alabama, and so is Washington. So it's going to be hard for Alabama to jump those teams no matter how you shake it, unless Alabama continues to win out and they meet up with Georgia, and Georgia at that point somehow is number 1 because Michigan has beat Ohio State. But with that said, what the committee will do, can you imagine this? What if Michigan, now let's look to the top left of the screen, beats Penn State? They're going to love that win. The committee loves an easy schedule with a one or two marquee wins or one win. But they love a weak schedule, period. They just told you on the transcript that they want to see you blow out opponents. That's why they love Michigan. They just said that. I told you they're scoring. They like Florida State because they're scoring 40 points a game and allowing 17. They don't care what your schedule is. They want to see style points. So Michigan, who has the style points, you've seen their season, you've seen their record, and if they're able to beat Penn State, they will. I mean, they could leapfrog to number one. Who knows? So what I'm saying is down the road, Ohio State and Michigan, that's basically the conference championship. Each team is on the East. Only one can win the East. They're both undefeated. You got to think Ohio State runs through, and they meet up with Michigan, and they're undefeated. And if Michigan can avoid an upset at Penn State, then those two teams are going to play, and one is going to be number one. They're going to surpass Georgia, right? And I think that doesn't work. You need to have Georgia as the number one team. Now let's look to Georgia on the right. You have Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Georgia Tech. These are difficult games for Georgia. Ole Miss is going to be challenging. Tennessee is going to be really challenging. Then you have Georgia Tech, and then maybe Alabama in the title game. What's up, Geeski? I see you inside the comment box. Aaron Goodwin, what's up, man? I see you as well. Florida State has a style points, 14-point favorite against Miami, then Northern Alabama, and then Florida. An opportunity for the Seminoles to get even more style points, right? So there's a kind of look at it. I need to erase Oklahoma. And before I get to my calls, I got two calls coming in. I'll take those in just a second. Here's kind of a bracket. Now, this was put up by the Action Sports Network. I like this graphic right here. It kind of shows you in detail what's going on at the present time, right? So SEC champ up at the top left. I think it's a good graphic. So, only one team can come out. Washington and Oregon, we know that. Big Ten East, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and then ACC or Texas. Look, I mean, I guess we didn't talk about Texas, but we know what happened. I mean, Texas beat Alabama straight up. Would they beat Alabama today? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because the game already took place. But in my opinion, I think the rankings should be based off today, how the teams are playing today at this point in time. And look, Texas still, I think we showed it on the graphic and we didn't talk about them. I'll put them one more time before we get to our callers. Texas has TCU, Iowa State, Texas Tech. I think they could lose any of those games. They could lose two of those games. Then they have Oklahoma State, right? In the title, they could lose that game as well. I don't know, a lot to dive into. Let's go to the phone lines. We have three callers. We got a 334, a 919, and a 601. And we'll start the party with the 334. Let's do it. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Wes from Tallahassee again. How you, man?
Hey, what's up, Wes? I appreciate you calling back, man. Thank you very much. We're talking the college football playoffs. What's your overall assessment of the ranking? I know the rankings don't start this weekend, but they are something to chew on, and we're starting to see things from the committee. In my opinion, clearly they want to see style points, and they value style points more than they do a strength of schedule. The cases are Florida State, Oregon, and Washington. They have style points. Alabama has played a gauntlet of a schedule, doesn't have the style points, but have played a much tougher schedule. Style points and then schedule strength. Would you agree with that, Wes?
Yeah, I feel like you're reading off my notes, to be honest with you. So I wrote notes down as you were beginning the show. So Ohio State, they play Michigan. That's one team. Georgia, we need to beat Georgia. Michigan, same thing. Do we root for Penn State? Penn State's what? They're 9, 10? Mm-hmm. Where are they at in the rankings?
10.
So, I mean, what will they view there? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's almost equal to being number 8. Mm-hmm. And Florida State, we need to, I guess, root for Louisville because their schedule is a wet paper towel. Mm-hmm. Washington, they play Utah and Oregon State and Washington State. And Oregon, man, we got to root for USC. You said it earlier. We just need chaos, man. Texas makes it really difficult. When you go down when I go down my notes, mm-hmm. like you just mentioned, I guess we didn't mention Texas, man. How frustrating would it be if at the end of the year we go into Atlanta and beat Georgia, mm-hmm. just for Texas, who let's just be honest. They struggled.
Yep.
They struggle week after week, just like Florida State. They struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it, man. We would mop the floor with some of these teams.
Yeah.
The defense we have this year just gives you that confidence knowing we haven't had that confidence the past couple of years, and now we have that defense. So, I don't know. I guess I'm a glass half full kind of guy on this. I'm just going to keep my expectations low and just hope for the best.
Yeah, and I think when you look at this, clearly this is the worst case scenario for Alabama. I think. I think the worst case scenario is Michigan or Ohio State. They finish undefeated, which is likely. Now a lot goes in line because Penn State is still there in the stew. But let's say you have a Big Ten undefeated champ. They're in, okay? Florida State, if they win the ACC and finish out undefeated, they're in. There's two teams. The third team would be, clearly they love the Pac-12. If Washington loses to Oregon and Oregon finishes out as a one-loss team, they're already ranked over Alabama. They're in, right, at the number 3 spot. So then it comes down to Texas, and if they're able to finish out unbeaten, and if they do, then there's your 4 teams right there, right?
Yeah. So who would Texas? Let's just say in that situation, who would Texas play on the opposite side? Would it still be? Is it still slated to be Oklahoma at this point?
It's Oklahoma State as of right now in a game which, nobody wants to. Nobody from that conference wants to play Oklahoma State. They're playing really good football. So, but I think the timing would be that Quinn Ewers would be back by that game in the Big 12. Whatever it is, that's kind of the worst case scenario. Now, in the thing about that would be that Alabama, if things go their way, is they would beat Georgia head to head, but I don't think Georgia will jump one of these Big Ten teams. And the craziest thing is going to be is if Michigan, who they have all this stuff going on, these allegations, whatever, is the number 1 team in the college football playoffs, and they make the playoffs and they play a game, and then after the season, we find out, even more stuff, and they have to take it away, and Bama is penalized at that number 5 spot because of things that have transpired at Michigan. Because you think they're going to really figure all this stuff out about Michigan and penalize Michigan before the final college football playoff rankings on December 7th? Do you think, honestly, out there for the comment box, and this is to everybody, do you think the NCAA, who moves super slow on every single thing, do you think that they're going to have a final paperwork and a final ruling on Michigan before the playoff rankings? No, they're not. What's going to happen is it's going to happen in the springtime or the summertime, and it's going to impact them next season. But by that time, everybody makes the playoffs. So this year, that is what's going to. So everyone's like, oh well, something's going to happen for Michigan and blah blah blah. No, it's not. Not by the. You're telling me it's November 8th right now. There is zero chance that anything gets resolved with Michigan. All it's going to be is just talk and this and that. But they're gonna, if they win out, especially if they beat Penn State and Ohio State, they're the number 1 seed going in 100% with all this stuff going around them. So that's what's going to happen. Even if Bama wins out,
I feel the same way about it.
Yeah,
and that's frustrating because we finally feel like we're putting it together. But hey. Let's just trust the process. That's it. Just trust the process.
Yeah.
Hey, man, one more question.
Sure.
One more question. Hey, a little off topic. I know you mentioned that you enjoy playing golf. What's your handicap?
Oh, man, I could get down to a 12. I just started playing.
Really?
Yeah, I just started playing 3 years ago and went out. So I play at North River out here and Old Colony, which is a great course here in Tuscaloosa. In fact, I played Old Colony just recently. I don't have any time right now during the football. I don't play at all during the football season. But I started playing, all my buddies would go out and play, and I was stuck at home with all the moms. So I was I got to get some clubs. So I started playing and, natural athlete, and I kind of picked it up. Have a pretty good short game. I putt with a old school putter, the putters from the 80s that I found at Goodwill. It feels good. Yeah. So putting is all about feel. But I played in the Alabama Amateur Tour this last spring, so I would travel to courses all around Alabama. Played a lot of Robert Trent Jones golf courses, which were very difficult. The ones up in Muscle Shoals were really hard. Magnolia Grove down in Mobile. That was a little bit better, but it rained the entire time. And I just, things didn't go my way. I made it to the semifinals in the club championship out here, and I lost on 18. I missed a putt. So,
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I still think about that one. No, but I love it,
those
so
are difficult golf courses. Yeah, so what I was going to tell you is, you just said you don't play during the year. I know people give you super chats and stuff. Hey, man, I've got a free Robert Trent ticket for you anywhere you want to play. You have my phone number.
Cool.
So, if you have a P.O. box or anything to send it to or anything like that, just, if you could find a way to get it on there, I'd love to send it to you, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man. And if you're able to play, I'll play with you, man. Cool.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Take it easy, Wes. I appreciate you calling in, man.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
See ya. All right. Wes calling in from Tallahassee. We got a 919 and a 601 and an open phone line for you guys to call in. 205-850-1994. Today we're talking about the college football playoff rankings. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Did you guys catch the interviews yesterday with Jam Miller, Kendrick Law, and Justin Mbogbe? Those were amazing interviews. So the player interviews, how they happen is you have player interviews on Monday, and then you have player interviews on Tuesday. So I go over there and I make sure that you guys have the best audio, and I bring those to, the YouTube channel. And those interviews yesterday were the best 3 interviews that we've had with 3 consecutive players. You got to think about it. I mean, these guys, they do have media training, but for the most part, they're college students. They're not used to, 40 people inside them, asking them, questions or whatever. I know you guys laugh about the questions. The reporters have different angles of what they're going for, whatever. But I did like the mindset of Jam Miller talking about, just being patient and talking about Jace and Justice and Roydell and Richard Young and having, talking about that entire group and saying, look, those guys are doing their job. And when I'm called on, I'm going to do mine. Same thing with Kendrick Law. I talked about, you might know the plays, but you might not have the skill set, and you might have the skill set, but you might not know the plays. So it's kind of part of the process. Al Sanders, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. He's saying, terrific kid, mature kid. The sophomores on this team, I'm telling you, super intelligent, well-spoken. These sophomores, oof, man, nobody wants to deal with this Alabama team next year or right now. Think about all these teams, and I was asking everybody inside the comment box, you think any of these top 8, these top teams top 10 want to deal with Alabama right now? What if Florida State and Alabama played this weekend? What if Alabama and Oregon? What if Alabama and Washington? Alabama, Michigan, Alabama, Ohio State. You think any of those teams want to go toe-to-toe with Alabama right now? No. Go back to the phone lines, 919. Hey, what's up? Thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who on the line with, and where you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, what's going on? This is G. How you doing, man?
What's up, G? I appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you so much. Today we're talking the college football playoff rankings. What's kind of your reaction or your assessment at this point? I know the playoffs don't start this weekend. It's all hearsay, and we know that Bama has to keep winning, but we're starting to find out clues into what the committee wants, and they want style points, in my opinion.
I will say this about the committee. At this point, I think we all know they're bullshit. But they're consistent in their bullshit. They don't like Bama. And that's been kind of proven the last 2-3 seasons. You can say that the committee is like, how can I say it? I would say this, the whole world is kind of more friendly to giving everybody a shot, and everybody deserves a voice and everybody deserves a say. The world is kind of going towards that, and it's not so grueling with honesty. We all goddamn know. I mean, excuse me, Cam, my fault.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know Alabama was better than TCU last year. Mm-hmm. But that's not how, things is anymore. Things is kind of like, oh, what should we do? Well, this would be the good thing to do. So, but, with the committee, man, like I said, there's some BS, but they're consistent. Mm-hmm. They did this to us last year. They almost did it to the year before when we had to go down there and win in the SEC again. But what I think is really messed up with the committee is Bama's style points is different than everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone else style points is kind of like you said, Michigan beating up on a Northwestern, or Ohio State beating up on a Nubaku Waku Southern. So they get 60-13. But our style point is shutting out top offenses in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Our style point is
Yes.
we're 82 to 10 points in the second half versus top 10 teams.
Yes.
Right? But so it's like Saban always preaches. We want to have the fate in our own hands and do what you got to do. But I'm gonna come at a different angle on this, Cal. And I've said this to Stephen A. on TDA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said it at the top of the season. I said, yo, my biggest fear with Bama is who we choose to play.
Yes.
And our playing, like I say, our playing time, Kyle, to me, has been suspect ever since that year when Slade Bolden was getting those reps over JoJo Earl, and Slade Bolden was getting those reps over Ajayi Hall.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I kind of noticed, like, there's no way in hell we playing off talent.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
mm-hmm.
oh, wait a minute. Oh, JoJo Earl not playing over Slade Bolden.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't talent based.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say this. With the team we put out there versus Texas, if the committee decides to screw us, and I hope they don't screw us with we go and beat Georgia, because it's looking like they could do that to us, bro, because of the disrespect they're giving Georgia. Georgia's on a 30-game win streak right now.
Yes.
I don't care if they played all D3 schools. That's the number one team.
Yes.
Football respect.
Yep.
So to have a team that's on a 30-game win streak to be not number one, you're dealing with some wild nuts, right? But it's shaping up for them to screw us. And this is my take on it, Kyle. If we get screwed, I'm gonna blame Saban, because I really feel if we put this lineup out there that we put out there now,
mm-hmm.
we would have beat Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a whole big regards on the coaching staff. I feel if Jaden Roberts wouldn't have been disrespected and been third string, we would have beat Texas. Why? I can assure you Jaden Roberts slowed down on quite a few of those interior rushes. And we all know if you got interior rush, you got a shot. I mean, if you got interior protection, you have a shot. So, if you had Jahad Campbell out there playing over Trezor Marshall, who we all know. We don't go to no practice. I mean, maybe you, but we don't go to practice, and we all know Jahad Campbell's better than Trezor Marshall. But that wasn't what we're seeing versus Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it two ways. Like, we know the committee is just screwing us, but I would also say the coaching staff screwed us as well. We didn't have our best unit on the field week 1, Kyle. I mean, week 2. We didn't.
All right, G, you still there? I don't know what happened to G. That was a good call. All right, G, call again, man. All right, we'll get to you again next time. Look, I think there's some points that I agree with G for sure, and there's some points that I don't. Now, I think that what has happened is this team has transformed into this team that nobody wants to deal with based off because you guys know, like, guys rise up at different times of the season. And, we're starting to see an emergence of Kendrick Law. We started to see an emergence of Jahad Campbell. Players get better. They get comfortable. They continue to progress. And then they start to get onto the field based off their own merits. And I think that's what you have with Alabama. That's what's so dangerous about this team, right? But he makes up a great point that Alabama's style points are their second half adjustments, how they've been able to finish games, 60 minutes, right? I think it's been really amazing. I mean, Josh put up the stat. I mean, look at this stat. I'm trying to find it up here inside the comment box. And you look at the last couple of games, how Alabama was able to, here it is right here, 10 points in the second half between Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Tennessee, and LSU. That is a style point that nobody else in college football has. Nobody. Think about the offensive minds. Lane Kiffin, all the weapons from Texas A&M, Josh Heupel's offense, LSU's offense, Malik Neighbors, Jaden Daniels. Man, that is a crazy stat. That is your style point right there. Beating Ole Miss was a great win. Look where Ole Miss is. They're number 9. So where are you playing at today? Alabama is playing at a very high level right now. And look, that early season loss, no, David's saying it's 13 points. Whatever the case is, it's a crazy, crazy statistic. Okay. G-Ski, I appreciate it. So all these numbers coming in. Point is, those are the style points. Okay. Those are the style points for Alabama. And I think that needs to be brought to light. The strength of schedule, I think, has actually hurt Alabama because they want style points. They want you to beat, up on teams. What did Oregon beat up on Portland State or whatever? But the early season loss did affect Alabama, clearly. So I think even when you look to going way further, you might start to see these teams schedule these light opponents and to get the style points. Now, with that said, Alabama didn't get the style points against South Florida because we all know that what Coach Saban was doing. He was letting everybody know about the quarterback position. And I think he had to do that to get this team back on track. It's kind of like if that early season didn't happen, then we wouldn't be here, right? This team has gained experience as we move forward. 100%. All right, 601, let's do it. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, good morning, Kyle. It's Jake from Pensacola.
Hey, what's up, Jay? I appreciate you being here, man.
Right now, Virginia.
Yeah, welcome on in, man. Hope you're being safe, man. What's your take on these college football playoff rankings?
They're quite tricky right now. But like I said, I agree with the first caller. We need some chaos.
Yep.
We need some chaos to happen, and within the last 3 weeks, like I don't know how the committee would judge it versus off the conference championship games. Because do they consider that a loss or not? Are they just going off their basic regular season? Because as far as last year goes, TCU was undefeated on a regular season,
yep,
and they lost the championship game, but yet they still put them in the college playoff. So by us beating Georgia, is it really going to help? I'm just thinking logically. I hope it does, but a lot of people are saying, this Alabama is dangerous. And if we make it to the playoffs, I don't see another team beating us. I don't. But I'm gonna get back to that. But I would like to say Kendrick Law and Terry Honor are my two favorite interviewers at this point right now. Like Kendrick Law's interview it's so mature. It's like he's an NFL player already. Like his mindset.
Yeah, I know.
And I love it. And Terry Honor had the same mindset. It's like they're advanced. I know you said they had media days, they had media training, but how Terry Honor and Kendrick Law interviewed, it was just so natural. It's like it just came to them off the head.
Yeah, and look, these guys are sophomores. So, that's the impressive thing. You throw Jam Miller in there as well. I thought that was a great interview. And you start to see kind of guys later on in the season start to have the opportunity to be interviewed. I thought as soon as Kendrick Law hit the mic, I was blown away 100%. I was like, whoa, this dude's got it 100%. And then you throw in Kobe Prentice, you throw in Isaiah Bond. That's why I keep harping on these sophomores. Jaden Roberts, like G said, Jalen Milroe, he's a sophomore. Mari Nyblack, he's a sophomore. And look, I've said this plenty of times right here, that Kendrick Law plays like Debo. And I think he's so versatile. Oh, yeah. You had him in the backfield. You have him on the outside. And Kendrick Law was actually asked yesterday about if he compares himself to anybody in the NFL. And he said that he's like, I know I've been compared to Debo and some other guys. He's like, I watched, DK when he was in the league. So I think what he's saying is he knows he's a physical wide receiver. We know he's a physical wide receiver. I love how he returns kicks. It seems like he gets it. Like, just run north and south, period, as fast as you can. It's all we're asking you to do. I think he has a lot of playmaking ability. And like you said, nobody wants to deal with these type of weapons right now in college football. And the more dynamic and creative that Tommy Rees can be with these guys, the more dangerous Alabama is going to be. That's why I think for Tommy coming in, and we get it, he did a great job last week against LSU, but imagine coming in to Alabama with all these weapons on the table. You don't have like 4 good receivers and a good tight end. No. Like everybody's elite. So how do you get the ball and how do you be creative with these guys to get them fed? Because K-Law, man, like, Jermaine Burton had his peak, but just wait till Kendrick Law starts getting going. You're going to see if they can be creative enough with him. Like, because one of the things, and you guys know I talk about the 49ers all the time, one of the things that Kyle Shanahan does is he doesn't care. He's like, look, we're going to hand the ball off to Debo as a running back. And guess what? Guess who's on the outside? Christian McCaffrey. It doesn't matter. Like, just because a running back is like, you get the best players, the football, period. The other day, they threw a slant pass on an RPO to Kyle Juszczyk, who's a fullback. Like, it's about getting the best player of the football. That's what you need to continue to do going forward. Kendrick Law, I love the point because, I mean, the kid's an absolute baller, 1,000,000%. What else you got, Jay?
It lost my train of thought. But first of all, Kyle, I apologize. How are you today? How are you doing?
I'm amazing, man. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I've been doing these 9 a.m. shows. They're good. 9 a.m. comes up quick, so you got to have everything kind of organized.
It does.
And ready to go, but it's good.
I missed it a whole week. I was so upset. I missed it a whole week last week because how my delivery times are set up and how late I run.
Yeah.
And I was like, every time I wake up, it's like 10 o'clock. I said, damn, he's already off.
It's fine. I mean, look, I think the morning opportunity gives us today to talk about, the news and trending items. Plus, every single person now that has a heartbeat has a show in the evening time, So it's like, I figure since I do this full time, I'm able to do this in the morning time and just trying out different things. I'm always doing different things. I have 3 whiteboards in here, business goals, affirmations, kind of things that I want to accomplish, goals. So trying out different things. And the number one thing I try to do is stay consistent. So, trying out 9 a.m. and just see kind of what the feedback is during the football season. What else you got, Jay, before I move to our next caller?
Yeah, go. One more thing. I know the little shuffle pass that he threw to number 2.
Jace.
Thing. Yeah, Jace McClellan.
Uh-huh.
Like you, if you was at the game, you didn't hear the announcer. And I said Jalen Miller, he looked like a Bryce Young. It was a Bryce Young move. I was like the whole playing the whole LSU game. My uncle called me at halftime, and he's a big Alabama hater, and he called me at halftime. I said I want you now. Don't call me now. Call me at the end of the game. You know what? I said, don't worry about it. I'm gonna call you. And then at the end of that game, I called him. I said, "Roll Tide, man." That's how I went there. I look, and but that whole shuffle pass, like it's like every play that we did. Like it was executed perfectly, and I feel like it took for us to lose, and like Malachi Moore said, it took for us to lose. That's why people compare it to the 2015 season, because that loss we had against Ole Miss, that right there caused us to win. That's a championship day, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because we knew we couldn't afford to lose anymore. We knew, and the focus and mindset that this team has right now, and I like what Jalen Miro said that they're so together, and they got closer together over the off season. I love that. But I appreciate you, man, and you have a great day.
All right, man. Stay safe up in Virginia. Jay calling in from Pensacola on the road, and we appreciate him making time to call him. We got a 404 and a 912. Get to you guys in just a second. My name is Kyle Henderson and Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys joining, hitting the thumbs up, liking, subscribing. You guys can become a fan funder of this YouTube channel on desktop. Just go to where it says subscribe, and you can hit join. And I appreciate you guys helping to fan fund this YouTube channel. This is what I do for a full-time job. You have your full-time job. I have mine as well. This is what I do for a full-time basis. So I really appreciate the super chats, you guys becoming a member, and simply just hitting the thumbs up button and becoming a subscriber to the YouTube channel. So I really appreciate you guys being here on this fine Wednesday, November 8th. Here's the schedule for today. We'll finish out the call-in show, and then after that, we have Coach Saban's SEC teleconference, which is at 11 a.m., and then we will get that posted on our YouTube channel, and then tonight, Coach Saban will be at the podium at 6 p.m. Did want to point out something that happened on Monday during the Zoom conference. So I was streaming, and one of the news stations, they didn't mute their news teleconference. So over Jalen Milroe, you had like the news appear. So look, those things are out of my control. It's up to the person who runs the Zoom and then the people who join the Zoom to be able to, mute or whatever. So I did upload Jalen Milroe in a clean version, which you can find on our YouTube channel. And definitely, if you have the opportunity today at some point, check out the Jam Miller, Justin Ebogbe, and Kendrick Law press conference. I merged them together. Every single interview, it's like 17 minutes in total. Just put it down, listen to it as a podcast or whatever. It's a great interview with the player. So with that said, I get to the phone lines, and we'll do 404. Let's do it right now. Hey, I appreciate you calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Morning, Kyle. This is Al. How you doing?
What's up, Al? Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get to you yesterday, man. You caught me at the back end of the show, man. But I appreciate you calling in today, man. What's your reactions to the college football playoff rankings?
It's the same old song and dance with these guys. I think they're playing mind games with everybody. I was watching ESPN with McElroy and those guys on, and they was giving McElroy a hard time because they would say, "Hey, this is only the second one, and you're already on 10." Calm down, man. But I'm with McElroy. We should be ahead of Oregon. I mean, it's clear. Everybody knows this, but it's going to play out. The way it plays out, and I'm an old coach, man. I did 18 years over here in Georgia, man, and I just sit back and I watch what Saban's doing. He's not going anywhere. In this team, when you look at them, look at these kids, the sophomores we got. He had the number one class last year. He knows what's coming up. He's getting ready to go on a run.
Yeah.
And they're going to be so physical. I mean, I love Jordan's murder ball, man. I just want to see us just mash people on the line of scrimmage for the rest of the year, just beat people, not win games. I sound like Coach Sean now. I'd be over with Sean and Smooks and Jay, man. But I'm serious. That's the way we're going to put our stamp on this team. That's the way you see it coming now. You see K-Law and 17 and 32 and 30. You see these young guys so mature. They're taking control of this team. And I think you're starting to see that in the character of our play now.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I do believe this. And, I just know from my experience being around a bunch of athletes, the high school program, guys that's playing on Sundays now, they can do things that the average person don't know they could do unless you're around them every day. You see them making plays in practice, so you can learn how to put them in position to make plays. And I think that's what Reese is starting to finally see along with his staff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and then the bigger key to that is that Jalen is now seeing the game.
Mm-hmm.
You see, he's the signal caller, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we can go to this whole big inventory thing we're doing off the zone reads and the triple option kind of concept that we're seeing now in the passing game. That's all coming through Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
He's reading on the fly now. It takes a little time to get that, but that's the character of what we're doing. But the big guys up front, I love Roberts. This guy's a mauler. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. We're coming. We're coming. And I think, I know we had talked about it, Kyle, but about the upcoming game this weekend with UK. But I think we're going to see from them a lot of five-man pressures to force us to get Milroe to intermediate pass game. This is just, I know we hadn't talked about this, but it just came up in my mind that I was looking at some tape last night and breaking it down just to see how, we want to play these guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's what's going to happen. And I think we should see Night Black and CJ over the middle of the field in the intermediate game. we should see that piece of Jalen. When he gets that piece of the game, look out.
Yep.
Look out.
Yeah, you imagine if we start having, Milroe, hitting some of those quick RPOs, slants to like a K-Law or an Isaiah Bond, it's over. Seriously, because what are you going to do? I mean, the deep ball's there. If that RPO quick slant ever gets there, and then his running ability, Alabama, there's not a team in college football right now this year that can deal with that. 1,000,000%.
That's all three levels, man.
Yeah,
that's all three levels.
100%. And then you look to even next year with all these guys coming back. I mean, you pointed out, and everybody's been talking about him now, the emergence has been one of the better trending stories to follow. This guy, well, I mean, my goodness, right? Yeah, we just said the same thing.
Hey, Kyle, do you know he looks like body style? If you look at him, he looks like Fluker.
Man.
If you look at him, man, Fluker was a big guy with shoulders. He looked like a huge, oversized athlete that you build on PlayStation. PS3.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what he looks like, a tackle beside JC. I mean, they're two tackles, man. And I'm telling you, man, when you put us in an even man front, and that frees Seth up, and he can get to the next level, and then we pull a book around, and then Roberts and JC start mashing jokers, man, that's one of our big inventory plays right there that we can't be stopped on it. You can't stop that. Okay, we're going to tell you we're running this play. Okay? We're running, what do you want to call it? Ace, 26 power, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Here we come. Look at
Jaden. Yeah, I just have Jaden Roberts pulled up on the screen. Okay, so see, 6'5", 315 pounds out of Houston, Texas. Exactly. Look at this dude.
Out of Houston, yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah, right. He's a big athletic guy, big bow-legged guy, and he could run. You just see him jump across the pile and land on the guy. He's blocking guys 10 yards. I'm telling you, man, that's Landon Dickerson kind of stuff. And I'm just telling you, nobody wants to play us. And our guys are licking at the chops to play Kentucky because of the style, just so we can make a point this coming weekend and say, okay, you want to strap them on? Let's put this Rydell on. What are we putting on? Let's go. Okay?
Coach, this is you hit on a great point right here. You know this is perfect timing because you go into this Kentucky game and everyone's like trap game. Yeah. Don't think about something else. Right. Well, guess what? The committee just did you an amazing favor. They don't believe in you still. Yeah. They don't believe that you can put another 4 quarters of play together. They don't feel that you can go out and dominate this Kentucky team on the road, at 11 a.m. This is another opportunity for these guys to put 4 quarters together. Because they did say that they were impressed with Saban's job overall, okay? But you need to continue to stack on that. And
that's right.
I think that works for Alabama. Like yesterday, somebody asked Justin Ebogbe, they're like, you thinking about the NFL draft and your name? He's like, no. He's like, I'm thinking about practice. If I have any new installs. Exactly. I'm thinking about Kentucky and the type of challenges that they're going to present us. Exactly. Malachi Moore on Monday, guess what he said? I'm thinking about the fact that every single game is an elimination game for us. So what do they have in common? Number one, mindset. Number two, they're both on the defensive side of the ball. Kevin still has these guys so dialed in. Nick Saban has these guys so dialed in. The offense continues to trend upward. This is a team that you do not want to deal with. Jaden Roberts, can you imagine a one-on-one with – who wants to go against Jaden Roberts? Raise your hand inside the comment box. Nobody.
Who wants that dude? I'm going to drop another little dime on you, too. What a lot of people don't realize is that Charlie Strong is an analyst on the staff. Say Charlie Strong, what people don't understand behind the scenes and how we get cut ups and stuff like that we present the guys at positions and we get them cut ups, get them on the iPads, and they go and study who they're going to play their opponent. Charlie Strong is a great defensive mind, okay? And I think that Coach Bala and those guys, man, behind the scenes, you would just look at it. T-Rob, they're on the same page. The coaches are on the same page. And still is like the inspirational leader. He's the guy I run through a brick wall for. He get in that locker room with that raspy voice and start jacking. I mean, he's trying to hold the horses back. I mean, 10 points in the second half against those teams. Come on, man. Come on. You got some guys pulling string behind the scenes, making adjustments, and the players are totally bought in. And now we just plug and play. We got athletes all over the field, and we just gonna keep squeezing you. So, I know. To me, I'm excited about our team this year. we can't control what the committee does, but we can beat the crap out of everybody the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, and make a statement coming in next year. Y'all want some? Okay, we got 12 teams. Y'all can play all the games y'all want to. We come. Okay, we come.
Yeah.
I can take Dion. I can take. Dion's my family, but last name Sanders. I'm serious. But we coming. I'm dead serious. He's in my family. But we coming, and you can't stop it.
Mm-mm.
We're running 826 power coming out here. Hey, let's go, Jam. Let's go. Get up in there. Get it. Go.
Man, imagine the running backs next year too. Jam Miller, Justice Haynes, Richard Young.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness.
Man.
I'm just telling you, Saban. I know you got other callers, but Saban is chomping at the bit because he has one of those apex classes that can go on a run. Okay, he's set up, man.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's underclassmen that are throwing down. And now we got an O-line now that's going to come in the next year with experience, size, and depth and skill positions. Out the defensive line, the same thing. Okay, same thing. Keon Keeler, we just stacking them guys up. We just getting them puppies ready. Okay, I'm telling you, we're coming. And we ain't done this year. Doyless murder ball the rest of the year. Okay, strap it on. Here we come. We're going to beat people, not win. We're going to beat people. And one last thing before I go. I love Old Colony. I played it with my dad a lot till he died. God rest his soul. Great course.
Yep.
Tuscaloosa is a wonderful town. It's my hometown, born and raised there. And I'm glad you got a chance to experience this, Kyle. And one last thing before I go. Tallahassee. Not Tallahassee.
Yeah, Tallahassee. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, Tallahassee. I was like, I never even knew that existed. Tallahassee. Love it. I learned a new place in Alabama every day. It's like, I was like, oh, Tallahassee. This would be great. And then they're like, no, it's Tallahassee.
Yeah. I learned about New Mexico, too.
Yeah.
When I lived in California. Yeah, because I used to live in California. And I would drive across country. And a good friend of mine, he lived off Route 66, right in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico. So on my travels, I stopped by and took a picture of his hometown in the middle of, it was out near Las Cruces out that way. Oh, no, Tucumcari out that way. Yeah. And, so, yeah.
That's where that's where my dad's from, Tucumcari. Yeah.
Oh, get out.
Yeah. That's where my grandpa grew up at. Yeah,
man.
from Los Angeles to Tucumcari. Back then, because of the Route 66, there was a lot of travel back and forth, and they lived in Los Angeles for a little. So I have a lot of family from Los Angeles. There's a huge Henderson clan that's out there, and then they moved different parts. But really, he was born in this town called Puerto de la Luna, and then which is outside of Santa Rosa, also on Route 66 en route to Tucumcari. So. Yeah, so I appreciate it, man. But thanks for calling in.
Yeah. Well, look.
Go ahead, Al.
I always love your show, man, and appreciate you having me on and let me, express some views and talk to the callers. And shout out to my friend online, Sarah Crane. She always give me a shout when we're in the chat on different things like that. So I appreciate Sarah. But appreciate you, man. God bless you. And keep reading Proverbs every day, man.
Yep.
One every day. To keep you, put you in a place of wisdom and a good space in your soul, man. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks for having me, Cal.
I appreciate it, man. See ya.
Okay, we'll talk to you later. Okay?
All right, man.
All right, now. Roll Tide.
All right, my good buddy Al calling in with the 404, but from Tuscaloosa. Good people. I made a lot of good friends, just even through the call-in show. And I love the fact about the Proverbs. I'm honestly this year has been a lot of time for me to work on myself. And I think it's important that we continue to do that as men, as women, mentor and, kind of provide that wisdom and surround yourself with people who are also doing positive things. I think that's another way to kind of elevate the way that you feel and the way that you conduct yourself, right? You are, who you hang out with, right? So to speak. All right. So with that said, we go to the phone lines. We got a 912. Let's do it. I appreciate you calling in. Thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where you calling in from?
Well, first of all, how you doing, Mr. Kyle?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good, sir. I'm so happy to be on your show finally.
Who am I speaking with?
My name is Kenneth Biles, from Savannah, Georgia.
Okay. Oh man. Before we get started, I had to tell you, I always like to talk about the travels and stuff like that. I went to Savannah, Georgia. So I went to Hilton Head, and then I drove down to Savannah, and I love ancient oak trees. I love them. They're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Savannah, Georgia has the most beautiful squares with these incredible live oaks, and then the parks around them. I think it's just such an amazing city. So Savannah's beautiful. I appreciate you calling in. And Kenneth, man, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to be very brief because most of the callers they did hit on some of my points. But I'm going to let you ask the question.
Go ahead.
Well, I want you to ask me the questions. What you going to ask me?
I want to ask you kind of about this team overall. I mean, when you look to the story of this team, because when you look to the playoff rankings, I think a lot of people are still so stuck on that week 2 game that Alabama lost. But think about this in a wider perspective. That team compared to this team, like, you can't rank that team. Just like you can't rank that Texas team or that Georgia team back in week 2, like, rank the teams off of today. And my question to you is, when you look to Alabama versus these top 8, Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, Washington, Oregon, Texas, you take Alabama versus any of those top 8 right now, right, Kenneth?
I know they'll beat everybody in there, and they give Georgia a good game, but right now they can beat everybody up ahead of us. And a lot of those teams just up ahead of us don't belong there. But I do understand what the polls are doing or what the committees are doing. So I think if they're going to fall in love with the Pac-12 and Washington and the rest of those teams, I think they need to make it fair and stretch the playoff a little longer and let whoever in them 8 spot get in. Like they can have something like the NBA have the bubble. So you can allow more teams to get in. If y'all gonna do it that way, that's what I feel.
I'm just really glad to get out of this playout format, because I cannot believe that there's 12 people, and I brought up who the committee members are. They get into a room and decide who makes the playoffs. Like, it's just like ridiculous. Like, the AD from Michigan's on the board. The head rep is from the ACC. You don't think that, it's dirty. Even if these people are the most outstanding individuals in the whole wide world, it makes it dirty, because these are people with clear, they're like us. It'd be like if us inside the comment box got to decide the playoff rankings. You don't think that everybody's going to be pulling for Alabama in the rankings if we all got together? 1,000,000%. So we shouldn't be out of it. There should be a strict formula that you go off of based off wins, losses, schedule of strength, and it's not it. So Alabama is really being penalized, in my opinion, right now for that week 2 loss. I get it. Head-to-head should matter 1,000,000%. But with that said, it's like rank the teams based off today, and there's not a team on this board. And I'll be curious. I'm going to do this. In terms, I don't know if there's kind of like, if they played, what the spread would be, because Coach Saban talked about this last year. What would Alabama be, and what would the spreads be against Texas right now, Oregon, Washington State? Let's just start with those 3 teams. If you can look it up inside the comment box, like kind of if these teams played in the spread, post it inside the comment box. Because let me ask you, Kenneth on the line from Savannah, do you think Alabama beats Texas today?
Yes, sir. They'll kill. Well, I don't want you to word kill, but yeah, they'll beat them to death.
Okay, what about Oregon?
Oregon ain't played nobody strong. They ain't played nobody yet.
No. According to the committee, the win over Utah was incredible.
Yeah, I gonna see how they feel, because they probably never played football. I don't know what's wrong with them. They drunk this year.
Okay. How about Alabama taking on Washington, right? Michael Penix, amazing, they have that amazing offense. Alabama hasn't played a good offense this season, right? No, wrong. Look, Alabama's defense has played the schedule that Alabama has played, from the defense perspective, has been brutal. They go against Washington. I mean, they've already faced it.
And see, there's what I don't understand about the committee because they're what? I mean, y'all penalize Alabama. They forget the SEC is the strongest conference. You can put stuff that we have played and put them against Colorado, Washington. I mean, I haven't go Mississippi State. I take Mississippi State to beat Colorado. I mean, not Colorado, Oregon, Washington. Those teams like that.
Well,
I haven't taken Mississippi State to even beat.
I mean, there was
right
there was that point during the season, and we all knew that it was coming. Remember how like all eyes were on Oregon and Colorado? Like Vegas knew what was going to happen, but the world of college football, I knew that Oregon would win that game, but people were thinking that Colorado was just like this elite team that had all this momentum after they had beat Colorado State, and Oregon like sliced them up, which they would have done regardless, but they earned points off that. They earned style points off that. Remember, Dan Lanning said they're playing for clicks, we're playing for wins. So, a lot of their wins, like the win over Utah, that's a good win, 100%. But, like, play this gauntlet of a schedule that Alabama just played. Play it. How would Oregon do against Ole Miss? Oregon and Ole Miss would be a great game, right?
Right. Yep, they can do that, or they can start putting some SEC teams on their rosters.
Yep.
And we'll go from there.
All right, Kenneth. Before I get to my next caller, man, tell me your thoughts about Coach Saban's coaching job on this team so far this year.
I think he did a good job so far. I mean, it took a minute, but we're getting there. Everything gonna play itself out. Everything gonna work itself out. We're gonna be in there, and we're gonna be the next championship this year. But so far, so good. Coach did a good job, and I think he was trying to get all the other coaches a chance to kind of improve. You know, it's kind of hard to say, "Hey man, you fired." No, thing. So everything gonna have to work itself out. But I tell you what, though, he's gonna have to come up with a new staff next year. Alabama ain't going for it.
All right, Kenneth, I got to move to my next caller, man, but I appreciate you so much. Thanks for calling in. Give me a shout sometime down the road, man. You take care down there in Savannah, Georgia.
Yes, sir. Sure will.
All right, man. See you, buddy.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, that was Kenneth calling in. This will be my last call. It's 850-586. Try again tomorrow. I'll be live every single day from 9 to 10 on Monday through Friday, so I don't want you to have to wait on the line. 805, let's do it right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
What's up, Kyle? This is Raphael from Florida, Bama. What's up, man?
What's up, Raphael? How you doing, man? Hey, I appreciate you calling in. I hope you're doing great. I hope to go to Florida, Bama sometime. I want to check out kind of the sights and sounds down there. Maybe even check out the mullet toss one day. Let's make it. Let's hit on the points because I gotta get ready for Coach Saban's press conference, which is the SEC teleconference. And I also got to get Stoops as well. So give me your kind of reaction to these college football playoff rankings.
We know they're biased, man. Let's not play around. They're tired of seeing the SEC as the powerhouse of CFP. And they're trying to. It's really a political history deal right now. What's going on? This is the last time they're holding the playoffs this way. We know it's the last year, and they don't want to see the SEC winning. So simply put, that's what it is.
Yeah, I think so. And do you feel that kind of when you look to number 5, 6, and 7, Washington, Oregon, and Texas, you think that Texas any of those teams should be? I mean, look, I get it. Texas beat Alabama head to head. But let's just focus on, I guess, the Pac-12. You think those teams have a better resume, schedule strength, head to head over Alabama?
Man, no. We know that's not true. SEC is always gonna have the toughest schedule, no matter what. We know Georgia didn't have it because they're coming off a two-peat. So just like when we win, they give us cupcake games the first of the year and give us the harder games the second half of the year. So we expected that to come from Georgia. Florida State is who they say they are. Michigan is not who they say they are. Ohio State is not who they say they are.
Yeah.
And Texas is cupcake. If we play Texas, we'll beat them by 3 touchdowns instead of 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if I had to rank the teams right now, I posted my rankings recently. I go number 1, Georgia. I go number 2. I guess at this point, Michigan. Number 3, I would go Florida State, and number 4, I go Bama. Then I go number 5, Ohio State, and then I would go number 6, maybe Washington, then Texas. So I think that Bama is certainly a top 4 team. There's no way when you kind of look to the back end that Florida State is going to lose. I think they can. Especially Miami, they should beat Miami, Northern Alabama. And then they have Florida, and then they have Louisville. They're going to win all those games. The problem is this with Washington and Oregon. If those 2 teams went out, how is Alabama going to jump any of those teams?
I'll say this. Okay, so for my number 1, I'm picking Georgia. My number 2 would be Florida State. My number 3 would be Washington. And my number 4 would be Bama. According to schedule, and Ole Miss at number 5. So just because the strength, so they are going off of teams with no loss, but y'all gave them a punk schedule. You know what I mean? They have the schedule is lackluster, and they know that. They did it on purpose. They did it. They want kids to go to the to ACC schools and Pac-12 schools and Big Ten conferences. That's what they're trying to shift. But we know studs are built in the South, so it's not going to matter. They want to go to teams that they came up looking up to. That's just what it is. Mm-hmm. So the committee, I don't even agree that we have a committee. I think the people should get the pick, honestly. Mm-hmm. I think it should be some type of governing authority, but to have a bunch of old men who pick their side with their side of the conference is not right.
Yeah, the system's broken, as our conversation podcast just said. Thank goodness this is the last time we have to deal with it. It's just like the stakes are high, yep. And you got to rank the teams as they're playing right now, not in the past. Like right now, who are the top 4 teams right now? Period. That's what I want to know. And I don't think they're being ranked as of right now. I think
we are
right. Who are the best? Like the playoffs to me are who's the best 4 teams right now. And,
I'm gonna tell you this: it's a bunch of delusional things going on. The whole committee knows that nobody wants to play Bama. The whole committee knows that. The nation knows that. I'm seeing people like T-Bob get on and talk about us like we are like what they saw 3 years ago. I think this team right here is even better than the team that we had with Devontae Smith. Just to be honest with you, this team is nasty, man. Like we're getting after it on defense and offense. So they should have took into account that we got a brand new offensive coordinator, we got a brand new defensive coordinator. The first year, who goes in and goes hard like this? The first year, man. Mm-hmm. Like, who does that? We did that. And they are afraid that we're going to – so they don't want Georgia to win again. So they hit Georgia with a tough schedule on the end and gave them with a cupcake schedule in the beginning as a setup. When it comes to us, they definitely don't want us. They never saw this coming. So they're doing whatever they can to keep us out of there. Like this Ole Miss game in Georgia, I'm scared for Georgia. Mm-hmm. Because Georgia almost lost to every hard team that they played. I'm gonna put it like playing like this: if Georgia would have played Arkansas, they would have lost.
I don't know. I think that I think that you still got to have Georgia at number one, regardless of where they're at. I mean, they haven't lost. They're the two-time defending champs. They beat Missouri. I thought that was impressive enough. I thought that win was more impressive than Ohio State's win over Rutgers when you look to today. Now, and then the reason I put Georgia back in the number one spot because collectively they're the number one team, and I get it. Ohio State is beating Notre Dame a real quality win? They've lost 3 times this year.
No.
People are so obsessed with Notre Dame. Like Notre Dame, are they still in the? Oh my God, they're still in the 20. They're still ranked 20th. Oh my goodness!
We beat the dog crap out of Notre Dame.
Can you imagine if Alabama was to lose 3 games this year? Alabama wouldn't be in the top 25. Notre Dame is still a top 20 team. Are you kidding me? I can't believe that they're ranked right behind LSU. Man, God, I can't. What
they got to keep politics out of football, man.
Man, that's crazy. I cannot believe that Notre Dame is ranked up there still. Whatever.
Yeah, and
all right.
I think they're going to be successful with keeping us out of the playoffs, man, because what they're doing is playing delusional games, like saying, week 2 you lost to Texas, so we can't possibly rank you above Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That's delusion.
Mm-hmm.
That's delusion. But you got Oregon at number 6
mm-hmm.
because you want to know why? Texas fits in our category. That's why they wanted to come from somewhere else. It's in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
It's in plain sight, man. I don't know, man. I'm done. Like when they hit us with like last year, they was like a 2-loss Bama can't get in. Now a 1-loss Bama can't get in. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Like, yeah, let's man, they need to do something with that committee. It needs to be shifted around. And then they got, the committee head, like he's delusional. He got on the ESPN and didn't answer one single question that they asked yesterday. Geriatric and just plain slow, man. Like, I'm telling you, man, everybody, but what's going to be scarier next year? We're going to have this same dang on team next year.
Yep.
We're going to lose a couple outs, but we have a very young Alabama that people are afraid of. Milroe is a sophomore. We got Kendrick Law. We got Isaiah Bond. We're gonna retain so many wide receivers and running backs next year and defensive players, man, it's gonna be scary, man. So they can do whatever they want this year as long as we take the SEC championship. That's why I said that 2 weeks ago. As long as we take the SEC championship, man, to hell with the committee, man. I'm sick of it, dude.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you calling on the back end of the show, man. Call again next time, Rafael. I appreciate you calling in from the floor, Bama, man.
Yes. Hey, man, and I'm going to try to fund. The reason I haven't funded yet because YouTube goes directly to Apple Pay, so I have to do like a workaround.
Mm-hmm.
If you have like a Cash App or something we can donate to, please start to post that because I'm not really with the Apple Pay stuff. It's weird.
Yeah, okay. Got you, man. I appreciate the feedback, man. Thanks for the support, Rafael. I appreciate you, man.
You enjoy your day, sir.
All right, man. You too. Take it easy, man. All right. If I didn't get to you today, 615, I'll get to you tomorrow or on Friday. Coming to you guys all this week from at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I got a breakout here because I got Coach Saban's SEC teleconference at 11. So I appreciate you guys being here. Here's the schedule for today. So you got the SEC teleconference, which will be posted here probably around 12 if I can get it up by then. And then later on tonight, you got Coach Saban's press conference as he meets with the media before Alabama takes on Kentucky. I'll post that at 6 p.m. And then after that, you have the coaches doing a college football centric show. So Coach Sean, Smook, Jarek, they're just going to be talking college football, all things college football. It's kind of a college football sound off, if you will. So definitely check them out. That's at 7 p.m. Central Time. And I appreciate you guys supporting them. My name's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being a fan funder. Hit the join button at the bottom of any videos, or you can go to the homepage of this YouTube channel and hit the join button. If you're on your phone, you can go up. There's a hyperlink that says a bunch of words. Hit that as well. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. Stay tuned for more content coming your way right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Have a great day, and I hope that I see you guys back tomorrow. All right, coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube.